Hello everyone, we're playing Pioneer Lotus Field. So Amalia and Sorin have been banned, and I have an RC coming up, RC Washington DC. So if you're going to be at that, first of all, feel free to say hello, find me, whatever. But I need to do some practice because I have not played Pioneer since the spring when it was RCQ season, and I did win my invite with Lotus Field, and I think Lotus Field is one of the big winners following this ban, so I'm almost certainly going to be playing Lotus Field unless something goes horribly wrong between now and the end of the month. The list I'm playing, the main deck is I think exactly what I've played previously. And then the sideboard, the only real changes here, because black-red is not really as present right now, we can take out the Leyline of Sanctities, and I've added in Silence, so a little bit more game against Phoenix, which is another big winner from this ban, as well as Control, and then into the Floodmaw, general catch-all, against aggro or potential or against hate pieces in general, since Lotus might have more of a target on its back. So that's the list. Nothing too crazy, nothing too complicated. Let's just play some games. And we're here with round number 1. Our opening hand is looking pretty good. We have 2 lands, a Scrying, a Lotus Field, and then the Scrying can get us another Thespian stage or another land so that we don't have to sacrifice our stage to field. Vizier and Pour gives us a little bit of business to get going with. This is definitely going to be a keep. We are on the draw, and this hand is not the fastest possible hand, so that is something to be a little bit mindful of. Our opponent is on Plains Hopeful Initiate, so I'm assuming like Convoke at the moment. We'll play the Forest and just pass back. Hopefully I could draw another blue or a blue land, because if I draw a blue land, okay, what is this? Humans. Okay. All right. So something to be, we're going to be under a little bit of pressure. Grazer is a pretty good pickup. So we just need to think about what order we want to play things in here. So if we Scrying, then next turn, Scrying for another untapped land, play that land, field, or no, then Grazer in. Untapped blue source lets us, hang on, let me calculate this. Stage, Scrying, get like a Botanical Sanctum. Next turn, Grazer off the Forest, put in, or play the Sanctum, Grazer off the Forest, put in the field, Vizier, untap the field, have Archmage's Charm up. I think I like that rather than Grazering now and losing the stage. So we're going to Scrying. We could also get Otawara. I think Sanctum is fine. I'd rather maybe have the Otawara in my hand. And then Grazer can block a hit. Charm, we can potentially put another land into play, and then we should be good to go the turn after that. So, okay, so they're going to hit us for 4. Actually, wait, is this coming in attacking? Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1. Okay. All right, so I'm taking 6. So we are under quite a bit of pressure here. And we probably, and we drew a Sanctum. So we probably need to win next turn. And that's pretty possible given what we have. The concern is if they just like remove Grazer and kill us, which could definitely happen. We do have Charm that can potentially do something about that. All right, so we'll let the Grazer's trigger happen and put in field. We're going to respond with Cycling Vizier on tap field. We draw another Charm, which is not really what we need. Dump both of these. So we have the Sanctum as a land drop for next turn. But we may need to, we do actually need an untapper. So ideally we should be searching for a Vizier with this Charm, I think. Actually, that's not even a great untapper. So we do need a little bit of help. Could also just put in another land, but then the Sanctum doesn't come in untapped, so it's not a huge benefit. Hopefully they have no removal. We can block this Adelaine and then decide what we want to do with this, which is probably going to be get a Vizier. Triple Charm is not the best. They're animating. No, they're not animating. They're doing something. Playing a Brutal Cathar. Okay. Exalt. Okay, so what is this? This is going to exile. They have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to be dead here. And we can't, you know, we can't really do anything with Charm. Yeah, if we do something with Charm here, we can't fight them because they have Ward. Otherwise, we could have fought like maybe the token, but that doesn't work. We could search out. Zir doesn't help. Grazer doesn't help. Is there a land we could get? No, because it comes in tapped. Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. We can't really do anything about that. All right, so we're dead. A little bit unfortunate, but I mean we kind of expected them to have removal of some kind. So, all right, yeah, we needed to be able to block the Adeline. So we're gonna start sideboarding here against humans. I am interested in temporary lockdowns, maybe some Flood Maw. What don't we need? Balaget is a little bit slow. Could cut a Dark Petition. We do probably want the Satyr, and we want to just be fast. Think about bringing in some Flood Maws. Cut another Balaged. We can cut an Impulse. And yeah, let's run like maybe 1 or 2 Flood Maw also. Maybe 1 Flood Maw. So we cut like another Impulse. Do something like this. Alright, so we are on the play. This hand is... it's like close to being good, but I think it's just not good enough because we have no Lotus Field. If this had a Lotus Field, this hand is great. Or if it had a blue source, it would also be acceptable. But no blue source means our turn 1 is Forest Grazer stage, and then we are praying that we draw a blue source. So the Grazer doesn't even do that much for us here. So that's going to be a mulligan. This I will keep. I'm not super excited about it, but we can lead on Temple and then turn 2 Satyr. And then maybe turn 3 we charm in a Lotus and play stage and do something with that. Send away a charm. Opponent has also mulligan to 6. So yeah, so leading on Temple is good. Do we need another Temple? I think we don't. Yeah, so this does mean that... yeah, so turn 2 Satyr, turn 3... I'm just calculating. Boseiju, decent pickup. And maybe they have removal for this, but hopefully they don't on 2. If they have the Brutal Cathar or whatever again, we still get to use it to accelerate out this charm. Dauntless Bodyguard, not a big deal. What is this? Sure. Alright, so I'm not trading my Voyaging Satyr. So we go to return. Ooh, Lockdown is interesting, because I could play Boseiju, charm out a Lotus Field, Satyr untap the Lotus Field, and then Lockdown. Does potentially slow us by a turn. It does also eat our Satyr. The other option is Stage, Satyr, Charm, Field for these two. I think I actually like the lockdown line better. So I'm gonna charm out Field. Untap Field. And I'm just gonna go for the lockdown here. Save life while I can. And we do lose our Satyr, but I'm relatively okay with that. If on their turn they like get rid of it, then we get our Satyr back, which is nice. And Pour is good to have. No lands enter tapped. All creature spells with a value of 4 or greater cost 2 more. All right. So this isn't going to be something that we can hit with, we could have hit with lockdown anyway. So I'm pretty happy with our timing on that. Does mean that our Pour is going to cost a little bit more mana. So Stage here, we can copy, strings our 2 fields, go up to 6. That's not enough to fully, not enough to cast this Pour. So I'm just going to pass. End step, I'm going to copy with Stage. And then we're just going to have a pile of mana. They will get to hit us with this, but this does mean that each Pour is going to lose 1 mana rather than gain 1 mana. Okay, Hopeful Initiate, sure. They don't have the counters on right now to blow this up and get back lockdown. And then, okay, so this guy is not a creature, so that does not boost the, or it doesn't give it ward, so we can still hopefully get rid of their Ardane easier. Razor, not the best pickup. I'm going to use this for 7 now. And then potentially use the strings afterwards if I feel like I need to. What don't I need right now? Probably the Grazer. I can play string, or I can play Stage. Okay, so let me take a look at what I've got over in the sideboard just to check. Okay, we have Jamocha, we have Petition. So we currently have 7 mana. Strings, each strings is +4. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mana. Fae will cost 6 down, so we'd be down at 9. We could approach for exactly 9, but we would have nothing left going for us. We could Emergent, but then we really would only be able to play things with cost 3 or less. Although Leer, we could do Emergent for like Leer, Strings, Petition, and if they give us Leer with, well, if they give us Leer Petition, that's bad. I guess they could give us Leer. The other option is we just like copy, and then maybe we Fae for an Emergent for next turn. 2, 3, 4. We are only really taking 6 damage here. They have 1 card in hand, so I think it's reasonable to just develop for another turn. So, okay. So if we copy again with Field, we're going to have 1,000,000 mana. And the question is going to be, what do we get with our Fae? So we'll burn 1 strings here. 5, 8. So we can cast Granted. We have to pay 2 more. And I think I want to get Emergent, because if we have 10 mana, 14 mana, we'll be able to Emergent and then copy multiple things. Probably we can do some sort of like Leer pile off of that. And then Leer with Charm can punch and kill the Riddance. So I think I'm going to put the Emergent into hand. And then I'm going to cast the Fae. We have a blocker if we need it. And we pass. And even if they kill the lockdown here, it's not like any of these cards really are going to matter that much. So, although the Indestructible on the Riddance would be kind of annoying. So hopefully they can't kill it. This also saves us a little bit of life blocking with Fae if we need to. So again, so it'll be 9 for Emergent. We have 14. We get Leer. Say we, okay, Thalia's Lieutenant. That is fine. And we're pretty much in the spot of needing to win next turn no matter what, so I'm okay with that. Pumping the Mutavault, or, you know, activating the Mutavault. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can block. So we'll block one of the 3 power things. Our Fae is still alive. Go to our turn. Draw for turn. Grazer, not the best draw. But I'm going to float some mana. So we untap with strings. Do not, actually we could have thought about encoding. I didn't really think about that. Make some more blue, and we'll go for Emergent here. And so if we go for Leer, so how much mana do we have left over? We have 5 mana left over. Leer is a creature. This only affects non-creature spells of cost 4 or more. So Petition would cost me 2, for example. Leer will cost me nothing. If I petition for Leer, so Petition would cost 2, I'd be down at 3 mana. I go up to 6 mana. And then I could play Leer, but I think it maybe has to be Petition Leer Strings. And then if give... Okay, so it's definitely Leer. It could be Leer Omni Petition. And then if they give me Leer and if they give me... All right. So if they give me Omni Petition... No, if they give me... Omni Petition would actually be okay. Because I can petition for Leer. I know, but then I go to 6 and I can't play the Leer. Or I can play the Leer. Oh, no, but I can. I can play the Leer off the Omni. So if they give me, if I go Leer Omni Petition, if they give me Leer Omni, either I cost 2 to play the Omni. If they give me Leer Petition, then I have a Leer in play and I can start doing things with strings. If they give me... And yeah, I'll have 1 blue left over, and then the petition will make 3 black, so I do have the mana to cast strings. And if they give me Omni Petition, then I play both. It costs me 4 down to 1, so I have 4 mana afterwards. The petition gets me Leer. I can play Leer for free, yes, and then I can do the same string stuff. So I think Omni, Leer, Petition is the pick. And the goal is to get Leer no matter what, and then this Pour Over the Pages is going to hopefully carry a lot of weight. So again, we need the Ordain here to be our you know, need that gone, and the goal is to get rid of it using the Archdruid's Charm. So if I can like strings up, charm, boost Leer, punch Riddane, then we're doing okay. We can hopefully pour after that and find our way towards a win. We have the petition. We'll have the petition in our yard as well. So what they should give us in this spot is they should give us Leer Petition, I think, because then we at least don't have the Omni in play, and you know it's a little bit more difficult to string stuff together potentially. But that does let me get more business with the petition, so. We have the Grazer in hand, who's probably going to turn into discard fodder for this pour over the pages, but if something goes wrong, there is a world where we would maybe want to play him. So I'm going to put Leer on the stack first, and then put Petition above him, paying 2 for it. And so with the Petition, I could get a Charm. I could get the Omni, I could get strings, I could get pour, I could just get into the Floodmaw. That's not a bad idea. I could just get Floodmaw and then just like ramp up and go again. Then I don't need to worry about the Archduke's Charm. Yeah, I think I like that actually. So then Leer comes in. We strings some of our fields. And now that it's in the yard, we might as well encode it to, for example, the Fae. So here, I'm going to pour, or I'm going to strings again and then hold priority and then Floodmaw, just so in case they have some sort of interaction, they can't like, I get the extra string. Actually, getting the extra strings is bad in that case, but still. Okay, so we'll use strings' ability. I don't know. We need to click quickly because we only have 10 minutes left as well. So something to be mindful of here. So we can petition, go get Omni. We have 7 mana, this will be 10 mana. So if we pour, untap 2 lands, dump the Grazer, make a pile of mana, Omni. We can then bounce the Fae back to hand. Discard Scrying Charm. Go for Granted. I'm going to go get Approach. Now, actually, this is a little bit risky because really the only business we have now is the Impulse. I'm figuring that we will hit something. And I'm just trying to save time, and pour is exactly the type of thing that we need. Untap 2, discard a Scrying. Approach using Omni. All right, we've got 9 minutes for game 3. All right, so game 3, similar to game 2. I mean, again, the bounce is potentially something we want. I think maybe I'm a little bit more interested in it on the draw. What don't I feel like I need? I think I like basically all of this. We could trim 1 Emergent. It's like good, but maybe not at its best here. Could trim 1 more land on the draw too, like maybe a temple, and do something like this. Yeah, let's do this. I don't mind trimming the extra land on the draw. Just try it. We do just need to be fast. We have a bunch of lands and a Leer. I mean, Vizier is good to have. If I get a field, I don't really have business. I do have Temple and Hedge Maze. I'm gonna mulligan this. I think it's kind of close though. This I'll keep. So I can go turn 1 Balaged, turn 2 Temple Grazer Field, and then have charms to develop lands further based on that. So I think I'm going to keep, and I'm going to send back the Leer. Because I think there's a chance I need the second charm as some sort of either potentially interaction or I think more likely to ramp again. So we'll play the Balaged. Pass. Grazer is nice just to have someone gum up the ground a little bit. And we're looking at turn 3, charming in a stage. So go to our upkeep, we draw. Strings and Vizier are both good pickups. Those are cards we need. Now we just need a little bit of business. Do I want Sanctum? I think I will actually take Sanctum. Seems a little bit weird, but I otherwise don't have a land drop next turn, and I think it actually is going to be important to hit this land drop. So next turn I can like play the Sanctum, hold up Charm, which is pretty strong. So here I will block Kithian. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't really matter. Why did this get a counter? Oh, training is when it attacks with something with higher power, right? Okay. Oh, our opponent has missed a land drop, so that is very good for us. So I could Vizier. Okay, so if I make 3 green, Sanctum, Vizier, untap, I go to 5 green. That doesn't help. No. There's a world where I can maybe do more copying this turn, but I don't think I actually need to, especially with them having kind of nothing. Again, I'm looking to just charm in a... And this does maybe read that they have like Damping Sphere or something, because why would they keep this 1-lander? I don't know. So, but we'll block. We can kill it with charm if that's what it comes to. All right, so they don't have anything there, so we can cast charm, put in the stage, go to our turn, Temple. So Temple, okay, I'm gonna Vizier cycle and then potentially copy off of the Sanctum plus the field, depending on what I draw here. I'd like to draw some business. That's not business. So then we can go stage, copy. We can play the Temple. Don't need a Botanical Sanctum. And then I'm going to pass and probably search out a Leer on end step. They draw a Dauntless Bodyguard. And yeah, so if I charm, I search, I could get another Lotus, but then I have no real business. I could get Fae. I have 8 mana. I don't think I like that as much either. I think I like just getting the Leer. And then we try to draw something. If we don't, I guess we like make some mana, make Leer, and then like punch some of their guys. Scrying, not really what we need either. I'll play the Lair. We'll go to 5. Play Leer. Are a little bit light on time, but we're just kind of playing this as a value play. Get a couple more charm activations. Use the strings. We would not like to encode. Make some green. Make even more green. Strings these. Yes, yes, and we will encode on Lear now. So we can charm a creature you control, target creature you don't control will punch the bodyguard. Now I can charm punch Kithian. We can then Balaged back a Vizier, which we then cycle. We do have Lair next turn. We could potentially just like make a big Lair and start swinging. And we have Scrying to go get Otawara as an interactive piece. All right, we're passing the turn. We have large Lear, we have Otawara, we have a big Lair that we can make next turn. So I'm reasonably happy about our chances, and our opponent has scooped it up. They have continued to miss land drops. So we were under a bit of a time crunch, but we did get there, and you know, with the sort of almost like value Lear board state that we put together. All right, on to round number 2. So round number 2, we are on the draw, and we have a pretty good hand. We've got turn 1 Sanctum Grazer Breeding Pool, turn 2 Field, play an Impulse, turn 3 Stage or something like that, and then we have some business with Pour. So this is really about as ideal of a hand as we could possibly have. I mean, obviously not knowing the matchup, but in the blind, I think you'd be hard pressed to come up with a better 7. And or maybe you can make some contrived ones, I guess, but like for an average 7. Blood Crypt. Cauldron Familiar. Okay. So they're going to hit us a little bit with the Familiar. I guess if this breeding pool was a Scryland or something, that would be like a pretty easy upgrade because it's coming in tapped anyway. So we don't really need it to be the breeding pool. Strings is another nice pickup. So we've stolen back the play, which is important here. They push our Grazer. Okay, I like to see that because it's not like, oh, I mean, it means they didn't really have anything better to do. So they do have Cat Oven going on right now. We pick up a Forest. So I'm gonna Field and then, oh, I'm gonna Impulse and then Field. Maybe make them think that we found the Field off of the Impulse. And I'll take, so the Vizier or Strings lets me start going here, but Vizier is more business, Strings a little bit more mana. I think the place I'm more likely to be choked is the business. So I'm actually going to take the Vizier. And then next turn we have Stage, Field, untap, copy, Strings, untap, Pour. So all right, so they're cat comboing us, taking a damage. Let's see what else they've got. And so we'll have 5 draws between the Vizier, the 3 from Pour, and then our draw for turn. So we need to find something relevant to do within those 5 cards. This is not really relevant. Good food token triggers only once each turn. Yeah, okay. We are under a bit of pressure. I mean, between this and the... Okay, Grazer's terrible. Stage is good. We can untap. I don't think we're outright dead. I haven't actually counted here. Scrying is not a great draw. So far our draws have not exactly been exciting. We will untap with both of these. I'll make 3 blue, 3 green. Oh, I should have left a green actually, but it's not a huge deal. Okay, so I can untap both of these, dump a hedge maze. We're really not finding a lot, so I don't love that. Azir into, oh, another pour. Okay, that was huge. Needed that. Okay. Okay, that was again huge. So now we can dump this scrying. Now we've got black mana, we've got green mana, and we've got Emergent Ultimatum. We've got a turn 3 here. Alright, so what am I going to take? I'm going to take Omni. If they give us Omni, it's just over between Petition and Ultimatum. And then I'm going to take Leer, and I'm going to take Pour. So either they need to give us a ton of card draw with Leer Pour, or they need to give us Omni. I could have thought about that a little bit more. It might be reasonable to take the Petition over. Okay, so they're giving us Omni and Pour. I'm going to cast the Omni, put the Pour on top, so I guaranteed get 1 spell off of the Omni if they have some way to like remove it, not that they're going to. Alright, so the Omni comes in. We can petition for free. Go get the Fae of Wishes. Granted. Use Granted's ability. And we can go get Approach. Just there's a ton of different ways that I could do this. I'm just going to like Balaged back the petition and then go get the Approach again. And that should do it. All right, so we have a turn 3 here. Not that common with Lotus, although certainly possible, as we just saw. Opponent is on cat combo. Well, not really. It's like somewhat combo. What do I want? Lockdown, maybe. Floodmaw, maybe. Silence, no. Dispute, no. Dramoka, no. Satyr, no. So yeah, it's just Floodmaw and Lockdown. So Lockdown does sort of stop their shenanigans. What don't I need? I can cut a Balaged, I can cut a Temple, cut a couple lands, cut a Petition, cut an Impulse. Maybe it's gonna be like, I think Lockdown is worth it. If they're just sort of gumming up the board, and then maybe we want like 2 Floodmaws, and maybe we cut 1 more Impulse, something like this. I do expect some amount of discard maybe, so actually I'm not fully up to date on what cat combo is playing, so we'll see. How do I feel about this? It's like not great because we don't have a second land for Grazer, so we'd have to top deck the second land. There's a good chance that the Grazer is irrelevant. If Fae were like a scry land, I could be a lot more into this, but it's going to be a mulligan. How do I feel about this? We've got a couple strings, we've got a Leer, but only a scry land as far as business. That's going to be a mulligan. This is going to be a keep. So what we have 2 Balageds. I think 1 Balaged and Floodmaw go back, since we can't really afford to. Yeah, we just, with this few cards, we need to keep our way to get our land base as well as our business with Pour. Okay, so they have Thoughtseize on 1, but this does present them with a choice. Do they take the Balaged and try to land screw us, or do they take the Scrying? Okay, so they take the Scrying. Another pour is decent, but, well, no, it's not. It's actually not that good. It is insulation against discard, but depending on, you know, we need a stage, we need additional lands following this Lotus Field. So they have Oven. Do they have Cat? They have another Oven. Okay, so they're gonna be clocking us pretty quickly with the Cat if or when they get it. Hedge Maze. So we get a Surveil here. I'm gonna graveyard the Pour. I need a card that does something like a little bit more immediately. They're shocking in a Blood Crypt. And then they've got a Fable. Okay. So go to our turn. The fourth Pour. We do not need that. It's field. Sack both of these. And I mean, in like 2 turns we get to cast a Pour, but I think that's probably just going to be slow. Ideally, we find like the stage next turn, or if not, at least like Archer Charm would maybe even be better, because then we can like Otawara and then put the charm in. And then if we draw like a Strings the turn after, we're in business. Losing the Scrying was a big deal. They've got Mayhem Devil, so we are definitely under a bit of a clock. Do they have the Cat? They do. Okay. So then this is going to represent, what does that represent? That represent, I'm not counting it. I'm assuming we're dead. I'll count it if we have to. Stage. So then this represents, well, I do have Otawara to bounce if I need to. So, all right, now I actually need to count this. So Oven, Sack, Cat, create a food. So each cat death represents 2 damage. So 2, 4. Then next turn, they're going to get Flip Fable. That's not really that relevant. They get a treasure. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 from sacking the treasure, 15 sacrificing the Saga. We're probably in trouble. But I guess my play is hold up Otawara, bounce the Devil at some opportune point if I need to, or if I if I can. And the problem is bouncing the Devil means that I need to draw the runner in order to be able to actually win. So it would be better if we don't have to. They do only have 1 card in hand. So yeah, it'd be better if I could just copy field, because if I just copy field, I think we're likely to win. I think they're on, if I counted it right, on board they're 1 off of lethal. So if they have literally anything, it's lethal. That does just mean that I can potentially bounce something on it on attacks if they do some of this first or whatever. See where that goes. I'll count this again depending on what they do. Do they go right to attacks or what? Oh wait, the Cauldron or the Cat is also a damage. Oh, that's actually not a sacrifice, that's a flip, so that's 1 fewer damage though. So this is 6 damage down to 4. Oh wait, no, this is more damage than I thought. So I am gonna have to Otawara. So this is 6 down to 4. This Oven is 2. This Oven is 2. No, it's actually 3 because the foods are getting sacrificed. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're actually just dead. Unless, well, I can try to bounce this, and maybe they miscount. But we're dead here because they can replay it, and then the treasure plus the ovens is enough damage. Because each oven is 3, actually. Yeah, and they see it. Yeah, this is 3 more. And then they sack the treasure. All right, fine. Yeah, the Thoughtseize was a little bit rough, although actually we did kind of get to play our stuff on curve there, so it didn't even make that much of a difference. On the draw, is there anything I want to change around? I think I just want speed. Could cut a Floodmaw maybe. I could think about bringing in Satyr for a little bit of extra speed, kind of like that. Go like this. Play first. Has no lands. This is not keepable. This is okay. So we do have turn 1 Balaged. Turn 2 turn 2 Scrying for a field. Turn 3 Grazer in the field. Hopefully I've drawn another land along the way. Basically, I'm wondering how important is this Grazer. I think I actually am going to send the Grazer away on the play. I think there's a chance that the Grazer isn't going to do anything for us here. They've got Leyline of the Void. Okay. So we can definitely win through that. That's not critical. This is potentially a little bit annoying, but we also have Charm for it if we need to deal with it that way. They could have Thoughtseize, that would be the big concern, but they don't. So now getting to Scrying is nice. Petition, not so good into Leyline. So we get our field. That's a key step here. I would like to not have to lose this stage, so I'd actually like to just draw another land. But if I have to, I will stage and then field out the Charm. It's especially annoying that I don't get to use it in the same turn, though. We pick up a Scrying. So I think here I actually like Scrying and play a different land. So like if I Scrying and play a Temple, maybe. And then next turn, I have Field Copy in the same turn. Do I want an Archdruid's Charm? Probably. Does represent removal for Leyline. Could use more mana potentially. We're not really under threat yet. But we could be. Yeah, I am going to take another Charm. Represents business finding Leer. Represents interaction if we need it to be. So I think I'm okay with that. And yeah, so next turn we have Field Copy. And the turn after that, we need to live 2 of their turns, because the turn after that we have Hold Up Double Charm, blow up the Leyline and do something else, and then the turn after that is when we would win. So this is 1 turn. We need them to not like put enough onto the board that we're dead on their next turn. No, wait, this turn. Field Copy. No, we need to leave three turns, I think. I didn't calculate this fully. Magebane Lizard. Magebane Lizard's a problem. Alright. So I mean, that is something that we can kill with like Leer Charm. Field is good here, obviously, because we need this to happen. So we sack both of these. And what is my situation with my sideboard? There's 1 Floodmaw in my deck. There's also like Leer Punch type of stuff that can happen. There's also all of my okay, Mayhem Devil. So there's also all of my temporary lockdowns. They're hitting for 4. The blood token can be sacrificed. So temporary lockdown would probably be my best draw. Grazer. Grazer's sort of okay. So if I make some mana, cycle Vizier. Doesn't get me to 4 green mana. Alright, so I could... I mean, this Vizier doesn't do anything from the yard anyway, so I am going to start off cycling it. Draw a card, see what we find. Is it relevant? Who knows? Maybe it will be. So I could blow Leyline here. Sanctum is okay as a draw. So if I blow Leyline here with Charm, I take 1 non-creature damage. Well, I think we are going to need to do that regardless. So we'll exile the Leyline. We take 1 damage from the Lizard. Now we have 5 mana. So Strings would make us take 2 damage, Petition would make us take 3 damage, and Lockdown would make us take 4 damage. Alternately, we could just take 7 here. Really, this would be 8. I don't like that as much. Is there a world where I can petition for... No, I would have to Strings first. Alright. So if we Strings, Lockdown, 7, and then maybe I can like Charm Leer or something next turn. Yeah, I think it just has to be this. I'm definitely feeling the lack of a unconditional board wipe, so that's something that I'm going to want to include going forward, I think. Alright, so we petition. We have Spell Mastery, but the 3 black is not really that relevant. And I think it just has to be get Lockdown. And we play Lockdown. We're going to take another chunk of damage. Wait, was I off by 1? I was counting that we're down at 4. And then we're going to play Grazer and hope we don't die to this Man Devil. I don't like that as much. At first, I thought we were down at... I think I miscounted... I must have miscounted the damage. I mean, they probably don't have removal in their decks, so... we will certainly block. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, so that's worth noting. Alright, Fable. So they make their reflection, and it's got to be this turn. Strings. Okay, that was like the best possible draw here. Because now we do have enough mana to go get Leer and do something with it. Potentially. So now we can, well, actually, wait, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we cast Charm, search. We go get Leer. Make some more mana. Play the Leer. We have 2 strings in our yard, which is pretty good. So we strings both of these. Untap, untap. Code, not that it matters. So we'll make a pile more mana. After we strings again, we still have 2 charms in our yard, so we do still have Spell Mastery. Untap, untap. We can encode. We can make some more blue mana. Or actually, should we make green? No, we'll probably need blue. So we can go for petition. So here I have a few different options. I could go for... I have 3 black. I could go for Emergent. I think Emergent is the play. This will be 3 green. Now I can get Pour, Omni. So like, yes, our petition is gone, so that's worth noting. So they probably will not give us Omni. So I think I would like Pour, Omni, and Strings, probably. And they'll give us Strings Pour. Strings lets us do something with these charms. And we also have just double Pour that we'll get. So that feels okay. I could also get Fae instead of Strings. So then we like Pour, and then we... No, I'll go like this. The mana might be relevant if we don't have the Omni. They're almost certainly shuffling away the Omni. Oh, they gave us Omni Strings. But then we can go get Fae. That feels a little weird. I didn't actually think about that line, but it's fine. Now we have Charm. Actually, I'll Strings first. And encode again. Charm, search. We go get Fae. We go for Granted. And I guess we get another Emergent. Yeah, we can get another Emergent. And now we have Fae out of our deck as well. Now we cast Emergent. It's being a little bit laggy. So we want Pour. So the thing is, they probably don't want us to get Pour. So we want card draw. So Pour, Impulse, and I guess Balaged. And otherwise we get like multiple Impulse Balageds. Yeah, I think that's the play. Petition would be good here if we had it, but we do not. We can bring our Fae in from its adventure. And I'm assuming they'll give us Impulse Balaged, and that's just a ton of card draw. And they're just trying to keep us off of Pour, it looks like. But we have Omni in play, so that's good. If we do lose this, we'll be in a significant amount of trouble, but I think we just have it at this point, probably. All right, so Ballet does only get Charm here, but still. We'll get Charm. Impulse. I'll take a Pour. Any order. Get back our Charm. We can then Pour. Building up cards. Untap both of these. Can dump a Sanctum. Maybe we want to Grazer Lair or something at some point. Who knows? Make more mana. We'll Pour again. Untap these. Dump a Sanctum. Omnia Sylvan Scrying to thin the deck a little bit. We can grab an Otawara. Do that again. Get a Boseiju. We can Balaged. Actually, I should have Balageded back the what's it called? I should have Balageded back the Pour. Not that it matters that much. I think we just have it here. I'm just gonna cast one of these with Flashback just to get more cards into my hand. No? Is it not working? Cast Fae of Wishes. Okay, no, it does work. So we'll get a Thespian Stage, sure. Cast Fae of Wishes. Discard 2 cards to bring it back. And send away the Stage and the Grazer. Cast with Omni. go get the approach, and then we have impulse and then flashback impulse to get to the approach. And take a lockdown any order, and then flashback the impulse, get the approach, any order, and that's the game and the match. So we are 2-0 so far. Definitely a very tight game against Rakdos here. They could have easily killed us if they had, you know, the right cards in their hand, but I think they were maybe counting on that ley line, and you know, we got there through the Magebane Lizard plus the ley line. Hateful. All right, round number 3. Okay, so what is our hand looking like? We've got a turn 1. Well, we could Boseiju Grazer Stage, turn 2 Balaged Recovery. We could turn 1 Sanctum, and then turn 2 hopefully put 3-drop stuff into play. I'm definitely keeping this. We're a little bit light on business. I'm assuming this charm is going to be how we find our Lotus Field. We're on the draw. Spirebluff Canal, okay. Pick up a Pour, so that is business, which we do need. I'm going to play the Balaged now, I think. And then next turn, I think I'm going to go for the Grazer Boseiju. Opponent is passing. This feels like a Picklock Prankster, or, you know, Free the Fae, whatever. So here, I like Grazer. I'm going to put in the stage. I'm going to play a Boseiju. We're passing the turn, and we would like to draw either a field or an untapped green source. Once we do get our mana together, we're in pretty good shape with Charm, Pour, and 3 hidden strings, but it's going to take a second here. Do they have the Ashiok? No, they don't. They have the Otterball, Elite, Kitsa. Dumping double Fiery Impulse. I like that. If we have to, and hopefully it doesn't come to this, we do have stage copy Sanctuary, and then we'll have the 3 green for the next turn, but that's just so slow that we really don't want that to be what we're doing if we can help it. We pick up a Sanctum. It's a little bit awkward because it doesn't come in untapped, but that's what we've got here. So that's what we're going to be working with. They're lightning axing our Grazer, sure. They dump another Kitsa. So here we have end step copy, and then end step charm field. So they have slight here. They'll have a big Kitsa. Stage will copy Sanctum. It's 2 color. Consider. And then they have like a Phoenix or something. They do have a Phoenix there. Actually, they hit it with the Consider, so that's a bit lucky. Taps Firebluff. Only 3 cards in hand. Oh, and they didn't have the 3rd spell. Oh, that's lucky for us and unlucky for them. Well, fortunate maybe. I don't know what the texture of their hand was in that spot when deciding to like go for it. Pick up another Sanctum. I think there's going to be no rush here. I'm just going to pass. I could, no, using strings there doesn't really help. If they go for a, something on the end step, like a instant speed cantrip, then I will use my charm. But if not, I probably end step charm on their turn. They have a Shredder, yeah. They're playing their Picklock Prankster, yeah. What did they... Oh, no, they just played the Picklock. What did they keep with the Free the Fae? I don't actually know. The question is, do we go for anything here? I don't think we can afford to get this Charm spell pierced. And are we under enough pressure where we need to? I don't think so. I think we can just wait. So here we have Temple. Azir is decent. I think I'm just gonna play the charm now. I actually should have scryed. That was bad ordering. That was a misplay. But here we search for our field. Play around Pierce. Sack Balaged so that it's in our yard. And I guess Beseiju. Now here I could Strings Field Sanctum. Okay, so if I Strings Field Sanctum, then I can Strings plus 2 more mana. So this is so Strings Field Sanctum, then 1 off, Strings again, untap field, tap their Spire Bluff, and then I copy Strings the 2 fields and go for a pour and go for it here. Do I like that? Alternately, I could just have 8 million mana on their turn next turn. I think I like just having 1 million mana. I think I'm not in a critical rush here. And maybe they have like a big turn, but let's say they like have a big turn, they chain stuff together, they bring back a Phoenix. Shredder's gonna hit a little bit. Kitsa is a bit bigger. I don't think they're doing 16 to me next turn. Picklocks is just 1. Slight, sure. I expect to get chunked for a bit of damage here, but I don't think I'm dying, basically, is what I'm saying. We get another card deeper this way too, so we're not just fully reliant on the 3 from the pour. We at least have a 4th card to play with. Because our limiting step or our limiting resource at the moment is going to be our mana, not our... And I definitely should have played the Temple after going for the charm. That was just playing too quick. So they're considering Jawari Disruption is gone. They're surveilling again. So yeah, they can hit a 6, 7, 8, 9. But, you know, 9 is a pretty far away from 17. You get to attack and then loot, sure. It says only you control, so it's not like if we play a pour, they can copy it or something. Impulse is more business, which is good. So I'm going to Sanctum copy the field. Now here I can Strings both their lands down and then pass after they float mana and then Strings my lands to untap in second main, versus if I just Strings my lands untap, I lose to double Spell Pierce, versus Stringsing their lands down beats double Spell Pierce. Actually, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So we'll pass the second main. So they're opting, okay. Now here, we strings our lands up. They do get to connive, but it's not like they have some sort of instant speed, you know, or free counter magic or something. So we're very likely going to win here, depending on, you know, assuming we don't brick. If we don't win here, we are losing, so there's no reason not to just go for this strings now. We'll make some more blue. I can make green and black as needed after this. Impulse, I mean, Impulse is good, but have I played a land this turn yet? I have not, okay. We do need to hit some other business. Fae of Wishes or Archer Charm for Leer, both good. I'm gonna take the Charm for Leer. Well, any order those. We have Charm. We'll have exactly 7 mana, so we get to start going with strings after this. String some lands. Might as well encode, and our opponent has scooped it up. So we are up a game over Phoenix. So what do I want against Phoenix? I want Mystical Dispute, and I want Silence. That was supposed to draw a dragon, all three. Silence, and I also actually want Dragon Lord Jamocha. And what don't I need? Well, I can cut a Petition. If they're going to be attacking my searching, I can also cut an Archdruids. I can probably cut one land on the draw. I'll cut a Sanctum. On the draw, I think I do want the Grazers still. Maybe we cut like one Grazer. I mean, the speed... Yeah, we do need to build a mana advantage. I think it's reasonable to still keep the Grazers. I want to leave Impulse. Again, the searching is the concern. I could cut an Emergent. It's pretty bad against searching. Maybe I cut like one Grazer, one more mana, because I am on the draw. So I'll cut a Temple. And I could cut like one more Charm. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like that. And I could cut the one Emergent. I don't know how I feel about that. I could also cut one more Grazer, maybe like this. Just 2 Grazer. So I really don't want like extra Grazer. And here is... It's not the worst, actually, because we do have turn 1 Balged, turn 2 Lair Scrying. I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit risky because we don't have a field or any plan to get one, but we're on the draw, and we have a Silence, which is nice, and we have draw-based win cons, so if they have a Ashiok, then we're pretty okay with that. They slight. Fae is not a good draw. So we'll play the Sanctuary. Pass. Just pass again. We're hoping that they tap out, but if they don't, I think I probably cannot afford to play the Scrying. Oh, we did just pick up a field. So now I will play this, and we get stage if they counter it. So if they had a like pick lock, then they don't get to. I'm gonna get stage. Yeah. Free the Fae, and they picked up Mystical Dispute. Okay. So we have our lands, that's good. Shocking in the Steam Vents and passing. Alright. Otawara. So I could just play the field now. I think that's what I'm doing. They're not playing Damping Sphere. They're not playing Buzz Crusher. Just get the field into play. And then next turn I have the choice of like stage copy or what. I could also like stage hold up Otawara if I had to. Probably it's just going to be stage copy and then try and force our way through the next turn. With like silence. Never consider. And they're holding up the dispute here. We drew like runner Viziers. That is a way that we could win through the dispute this turn. That's not particularly likely though. Impulse is, I mean, it's like okay. There's no reason to not just do this now, I think though. And just pass. And then we're probably going next turn. Depends on what they tap down and whatnot. I mean, maybe there's a world where we want to like hang back with Otawara Impulse. They don't have any Phoenixes in the yard yet, which is nice. And we're not really under any pressure yet either. I mean, the Shredder will turn into pressure, but it's not pressure yet. The place where I would start to get concerned is if they left like 3 or more mana up, and then my silence can't get through. Like if they could potentially dispute my silence, basically. What I'd want is like 2 mana, and then maybe I can like play through it or whatever. I could maybe strings first, again, depending on the math, depending on what they leave up, depending on what they play. There's a lot of variables here. They're incentivized to spend some of their mana to proc Shredder and maybe to try to fish for a Phoenix. It looks like a cruise here. So if this is like Ashiok or something, that's a possibility. No Ashiok. Well, it could be after post-combat. But they should have gone for the Connive then in that case. This looks like they're just passing. Okay. All right. So we have a dispute of our own. That's a decent pickup. So if I play the Otawara, I like go for a silence. They tap 3, dispute it. I dispute their dispute. I think we can win with that dispute draw. So I'm going to play the Otawara as my land. And if they Narset's Reversal, then I can dispute the reversal. They're not really playing Narset's Reversal right now, though, Phoenix. So it's looking like they're tapping for dispute. So now I can dispute their dispute. They do get to connive, but basically they can have one more piece of counter magic. And if they use it here, then we're probably just comboing, so. All right, yeah, I mean, they turned off my dispute and they stopped my silence, but now they're tapped out. So we would not like to pay for their dispute. So they can... So now we get to strings our fields. And now we should just be good. And tap both of these, ditch a Lotus Field. And they scoop it up. That was probably a little bit premature for them to scoop it up because, I mean, yeah, we had a few cards. I guess they knew that based on the fact that we silenced and disputed, we just had it in our hand. So maybe not. Like, because we wouldn't have fought over that if we weren't, like, confident we had a win following that. All right. Yeah, let's go to the next round. Okay, so we are now here in the 4th round. We have a hand that I'm going to say is kind of close, actually, but we're on the play. So we have turn 1 Balaged, turn 2, like, Sanctum, Vizier, draw. There's a chance this Grazer turns out irrelevant. I think I am going to keep this, largely on the back of if I'm going to see 2 cards next turn, draw for turn, and a Vizier if I have to, and if one of those is a land, then I'm reasonably happy with this. So I'm gonna keep, but it's not an amazing hand. And again, yeah, the goal here is gonna be like Sanctum, and then cycle Vizier, untap like a green source, and then Grazer. Opponent plays a Murkwater Pathway and Thought Seizes us. So we are kind of insulated against Thoughtseize, although they probably take our charm, actually. So we're not that insulated against Thoughtseize. Poor is our business. Grazer is you know, a little bit of acceleration. If they have a second Thoughtseize, they could think about taking Grazer, but Grazer is like kind of card disadvantage in general, so it feels a little bit weird to take a Grazer with a Thoughtseize. They take Poor, okay. This could be another they have a second Thoughtseize type of play, and then they're going to take the charm the next turn, although there's nothing necessarily conclusive about that. Okay, so we pick up another land here in the form of Thespian Stage. And I think I still am going to cycle a Vizier because I would like to, A, if we find a Lotus, that's even better, but B, hopefully have have an additional draw at another green source so that I can charm the turn after this. All right. So Stage is in play. They have Otawara, so they are blue-black, it looks like. Oh yeah, this is Murkwater, so we knew that. For some reason I thought this was like black-red pathway. I'm not really sure what I was thinking there. They go for the Thoughtseize. They definitely take the charm. Yeah, so we kind of figured that taking the Poor is a little bit of a they have 2 Thoughtseize type of play. Now we can Balaged back either the charm or the Poor, but if we do that, then we kind of just passed the turn and did nothing. I mean, they kind of passed the turn to do and did nothing to put this Thoughtseize into play. We could also just like stage copy like the Sanctum. We could also like hard cast Vizier. I don't like that. I don't want to open us up to removal. We could cycle Vizier and hope we draw a land. But if we don't, we're setting ourselves kind of far behind. I think I actually do like well, yeah, I think I actually no. Yeah, I think I do like cycling Vizier. So keep developing, draw a card. Should have maybe untapped the Stage there, actually. That was a bit of a mistake. Okay. Scrying is pretty good. That means that this Balaged can turn into a Poor. So we can get Lotus Field. We can play it. Sack the Balaged and the Sanctum. Strings. is maybe going to get taken, but I mean, what are the chances that they have the third discard spell? Can't be very high. Famous last words. So next turn we're looking at just copying our field in all likelihood. Although if they, yeah, I'm not really interested in Balagetting immediately. Oh, they have field. Oh, that's annoying. They do have to tap out for it, or tap down to 1 mana though for it. So we maybe can make something happen with that. We get our forest. So we do have potentially lines like, so 4 mana strings would be +2 without another. So that'd be 6 mana, Balaged, charm in another field or a stage. I feel like that's a little bit risky. I think I'm more interested in Balaged back. Well, we could Balaged back charm. Yeah, I think I like Balaged back charm. The other option is Balaged back poor, or the other option is Balaged back Sylvan Scrying. But charm is sort of the most flexible. Although scrying does let us play the scrying now, which is nice. Yeah, actually maybe I like Balaged back scrying. And now we can go get a stage. We could get a field, which would be a little bit more guaranteed, but I think we're going to need the mana advantage, so I'd like to not sacrifice the lands. So I'm going to get stage. If they hold up a field, then, you know, we can potentially enter into a little bit of an awkward standoff with them, but we'll try this. We do just need business now. Charm would be good in that it gets Leer. Okay, so they don't have another field. Impulse is decent. So we have stage, and I'm just going to copy now. And then I'm going to pass. And they have deduce, so they're doing some card draw. And I will impulse in response here while they're tapped out. Ooh, options. Charm, Emergent, Strings. It's definitely not Strings. It's not Omni. It's either Charm or Emergent. So we have 8 mana right now. Charm represents Leer, which I like a lot. Leer makes things uncounterable. Emergent is potentially a little bit more susceptible to things getting countered. So that's a little bit scarier. So what do I think that they could have counter-wise? Could have like Drown in Lock type stuff. They could have removal. I think I'm more likely to take the Emergent here. I think they don't actually, I quickly looked at some blue-black lists. They don't actually play that much permission. They play more removal and like then some discard. So, and then they also could have Narset, and that's something that Emergent would play around. Okay, so tapped under City Sewers. Sheoldred's Edict in the bin. It does feel like they have a counterspell here, though. Impulse. Now, okay, so 2 or 6, 7, 8. I think I'm just passing here. Wait till then. Well, till they tap down a little bit more. Maybe we end up in a spot where like we can strings down their two of their lands and then force through this emergent. That would be 9 mana, so that's something to be a little bit careful of, but here, end step, we can impulse. I can't really imagine that they would tap down to counter this, no. Fae is pretty good. We can go get like something from our sideboard. Maybe like Dramoka, something like that. Stage is also decent. So we'll go 3, 4, and we can cast Granted. And then the question is, how much do they want to commit to countering this? Okay. So we could go get Silence. Yeah, I think Silence is probably the pick. I think they're probably not playing Narset's Reversal. Yeah, I'm going to get Silence. And the question is, can we go for anything this turn? So if we Silence off of this field, make a blue here, untap my 2 fields, so I'd have 1 white floating, and then I'd have, no, I can't, so it's just pass. I could play the Fae, but I think the Fae is safer in exile, so I don't see the need to do that yet. I'll also just have more mana next turn with Stage. They do get to scry 2 here. And after they finish this, I will just field, or I will just Stage copy one of my fields. In case they have like another Field of Ruin. I'm not expecting them to be playing like 4 Field of Ruin necessarily, but okay, they cycle the Censor. The big concern would be like discard spell again, but again, from what I'm seeing in the lists that I looked at, they play like 3 Thoughtseize, so what are the chances they have another Thoughtseize? Probably not that high. Shocking that Watery Grave in. And they do have the other Thoughtseize. Okay, sure. They're thinking here, though, because maybe they're thinking that they have the answer for the emergent, and so they don't want to allow the silence. The fact that this is a choice gives us information. I also need to play fast. They're cracking their clue. Okay, so if we draw business, we're just going to win here, but we need to draw business. Could maybe make something happen with like playing and using the Fae. Stage is not really it. So how much mana? 9, 10, 11. Stage is 12. Fae, and then... So if I Fae dump... Well, no, I can't dump both. I'd have to Fae discarding the stage, so it's 11 mana. So it would be 2 to play it, 2 to bring it back to hand, 2 to cast Granted. That's a lot of steps. So I think that's not going to work. So I think we just play the stage and we're passing again. Copy. Actually, I could just copy it now. Why not? More mana. All right, surely they don't have 4 Thoughtseize. Cycling a Censor. They're only at 12 life. There's a world where we just draw Lair of the Hydra and then kill them. I'm not casting this Silence even if they like Thoughtseize me, because I'd like to make them use it, so. All. I could stage a haul. I was a little slow there. What happened? Did I just yielded through my turn on accident? Good stuff. All right, so they're scrying. It's their turn. So if they activate this hall, and I don't imagine they're going to activate the hall, but you never know. Could potentially just like clock them with the hall. I think it's not likely, but. So here I could copy. And I think there's no need to rush here. Temple, sure. Don't need another Beseiju. As soon as we find some business, I think we're in good shape. And again, we do sort of retain this like copy hall, Beseiju their hall play. And they used a fatal push. Okay, that's good. Scrying again. They bottomed 2 last time. They bottomed 2 again here. I'll read that as a sign of weakness, probably. We do have our Fae that we could do something with, potentially. They're dig through timing. All right. Big delve. 12, 13, 14, 15. 2 to play the Fae. 2 to bring it back to hand. 2 more to play it. 7 mana left afterwards. I think I potentially have silence into... Okay, so they have a Narset. They're looking at the top 4. Potentially have silence into a Fae, into an Emergent or something like that, depending on what we draw. But there's the question of, do we go for Hall here? I think we actually probably do, but let's see what they do with this Narset. They pick up a negate. Their benefit to copying Hall twice. Can I afford to play Hall twice? Or to like activate Hall twice? It costs 6 to activate. If I had 2 Halls, I'd have 9 mana. I cannot. Okay. Alright, so go to our turn. Draw. Archdruid's Charm. Alright, so I'm gonna float some mana. Activate Hall. Go to combat. Ack. See what they have here. Potentially an interesting mix of cards that do things. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. Okay, so I could... Yeah, so that's going to happen. Do I charm? Okay, do I go for like a strings? All right, so that's going to happen. I need to just play more quickly. So if I go for a silence here, depending on what they do to it, then I strings. Wait, let me count my mana. 3, 4, 5, 6. The Beseiju represents 7. Strings 8, 9, 10, 11. Silence 10. Charm 7. Leer? Maybe. Maybe. I haven't actually counted colors. I just assume that it's going to work, but maybe I should have checked. So they're negating our silence, yes. Strings 2 fields. Play the Boseiju. Need to play it now because I need this to be green. Charm. Go get a Leer. And the pour doesn't work for us here, so it needs to be searches, but the impulses are good, and Emergent Ultimatum in our yard is also good here. And then we've got strings. Might as well encode. And the question is, what is our follow-up? We could pour actually just for the 7th mana, which is cool and something that I'm interested in doing. Yeah, I'm interested in doing that just for the mana. Okay, so now I can impulse, I can scrying, I could charm, search for a vizier. I can't quite emergent, I'm like 1 off. I think I like impulse. Strings is perfect. Strings both of these. Make some more mana. Strings again. Might as well hit that. We've got blue, we've got black, we've got more, and we've got emergent. And so here we could go Petition, Omni, and we do need some way to get that Narset out of play. I think I'm just going to go strings. Get another strings into the yard. Yeah, I think that's probably good. And we can flashback like a scrying to bounce the Narset probably. They might have like a fatal push, so we do just need to be a little bit careful of the timing with the Fae, although we are seriously low on time, and this is game number 1. So we need to play quick. So I may not talk as much for a second here. Again, I'm just trying to play quick. So we got the Otawara. That will get the Narset out of play. And we can get some cards into our hand. Got Impulse here. 4 is perfect. Need some raw cards in my hand to fuel Fae is basically the situation. Alright, that's even better. Cast Fae. Discard these two, and then we have a granted or granted approach. Yet approach again. And that's the game. Okay, so we have just over 10 minutes left for 2 games. Not the best spot to be in. We're going to need to just play really fast. So what do I want against control? I want silences. I want disputes. I want Dramoka. What don't I need? Grazers can go. I can cut like a Vizier. Honestly, maybe even 2 Vizier. Vizier is pretty bad against Narset. Could think about like 1 Floodmaw. I don't think that's necessary. They could also have Ashiok, in which case the Viziers are okay. So we'll go like this. And I'm gonna just be like aggressively trying to like save time with F6s. So this may like cost me percentage points in a couple of places, but I just don't have the time for that. Okay, so we have a hand that I'm gonna keep it. We have our mana to develop, and then hopefully this impulse will find business. So we'll F6 their first turn. Temple, Scry. I'll keep that, and then F6. It's not the best bit of business, but it does sort of work its way towards a faster win, so. All right, we've got an Otawara. We're going to Scrying, and hopefully this is going to get countered. All right, fine. We would not like to pay. No. Why is it asking me twice? It's valuable seconds that we're getting cost here. I hit F6. I don't know. All right. They skipped a turn. That's big. I don't know why I'm floating that mana. So next turn it's going to be Stage Copy. They have Deduce. I'm surprised they didn't use that. Well, I guess they have a counter spell. They maybe have like Negate or something. But yeah, it's looking like Stage Copy next turn. Maybe we get somewhere the turn after that. They have Ashiok, okay. So Impulse is good for us there. They did mill a Charm. All right. Fae is in our hand, so that's something I'm happy about in this spot. All right, so we copy our field, passing the turn. We don't really have any searching right now that is like crucial. Undercity, okay. They hit our Omni, so we're going to need to win without Omni if we're winning this one. It's a little bit rough. Petition. Petition's not the best here. So if I open on Silence, I strings, I go up to 9. Is this my best window? I could like Fae. What's in my sideboard that I could get? I just get the approach and stick the approach into my deck. And maybe this is a reasonable window. It's not exactly the best window, but hang on, 6 with the Silence, 9 mana. Fae takes me down to 5. Balaged with strings is +1. That could be up to 6. Petition takes me down 2 to 4. I don't have to Fey also. I could also like petition for a... Yeah, okay. Alright, we'll try. We'll try. Negating, maybe? I'm figuring we're going to petition for a pour, probably. And hopefully that leads us somewhere useful. Sure, it's countered. Strings both of these. Spending a white mana. Now I have the 2 for Spell Mastery. Bunch more mana. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This will cost me 2 down to 7. Oh wait, I can't search. Never mind. That was dumb. That was very dumb. I'm gonna impulse, I guess. That was just stupid. That was just throwing mana away. Rings. I have 9 mana now. Balged could take us to 10. Faye can go get something. Alright, I'm gonna Granted. Assume we're about to get something back. We're 1 off on... Yeah, so what do I want here? I guess I want Approach. Takes me to 5. Down to 2, up to... Yeah, had I not used the... petition, we could have actually approached. Okay, I need to just not be focusing on other lines here. We'll get back the Impulse. Use Impulse. Hit Pour. Yeah, all right, we'll try this. This is not going well. Approach in hand is not exactly exciting. Three cards in hand. We're gonna try to play a Pour. Probably it's gonna get countered, and then we're gonna be passing the turn. But maybe it won't get countered, and then we'll be happy. All right, negate, sure. Goal again is to run them out of cards basically in the spot. Although they do have this clue, so what are really the chances? Not that high. Got some more cards. They got our Dramoka. I have another mana. Narset. That's bad. We're probably losing this one. Alright. I'll scoop it up there. We have a 3rd game to win in not very much time. Alright. Do I want to change anything? I think no. Don't want Grazers. Vizier against Narset still sort of questionable. I could bring in like a Flood Maw against Ashiok potentially. Just have 1. I think on the play we're just gonna try and turbo our stuff out and then hope something resolves. I can't like play a more finessed game that I would normally play if I had more time here. And again, if there's some pauses where I'm focusing, then just bear with me. Definitely shouldn't have played that petition. Then I could have resolved the approach the same turn. But then I would have died to the, yeah, I would have died to the Ashiok, and then like the second Ashiok activation would have eaten my approach. So it doesn't really matter in that case, I don't think. I guess I could have impulsed and maybe hit a pour the same turn. Maybe. Definitely the types of things that can happen when you're just, again, very, very low on time. So between Narset and Ashiok, we definitely can just be in trouble against either, although we do have the tools to beat either one. It just like depends on which half of our deck we draw versus which half of the deck our opponents draw. We are on the play. 6 minutes to go. I don't think I can keep this. We just don't have another green. This... All right, I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit risky. We're going to ship the ultimatum. We have the field, and I mean, we can hopefully draw a land, and if we don't, then, you know, this is a hand that can win the game if we get a little bit lucky, and that's what we need in the current circumstances. We're a little bit insulated against this too, because we have like Scrying and Impulse. So if they take one, then we do have the other. We just need to top deck a land. Okay, and we do. That's lovely. All right, and here I'm going to just go looking for any other land. And I will take a Sanctum, yes. This means that I can Sanctum. Well, if they have Field, that's a little bit bad. But I can Sanctum and then go for something the turn after. Or like Field copy the turn after, I mean. So we've got Sanctum. Pass the rest of this turn. They're searching. You can copy a basic if they... Actually, just copying a basic fizzle Field if they have Field of their own. I'm not sure. It might. Charm for Leer might be a line that ends up happening here. Next turn, it's just going to be Field copy. Bantress, and hopefully not a Walker. Though I'm a little concerned based on this pause. They're not just immediately passing. Okay, maybe they are passing. Should have maybe copied. Again, I'm not worrying a ton about stuff like that right now. All right, we've passed the turn. I F6, excuse me. They're flashing something in. Oh, Shark Typhoon, not a big deal. We can Scrying for like another field here, potentially. Could also Scrying for a Otawara if they have like a Planeswalker. Probably they take Pour. But again, we can get a big mana advantage with Scrying, so that's nice. Yeah, Charm is going to almost certainly represent Leer, although if we get an opportunity to resolve it, we could also put a Dramoka into play. They've had double Thoughtseize, so like for, again, maybe they play the 4 Thoughtseize, decks play like 3 or 4, I guess. They probably have 4 out of the board. 1 damage with the Shark. And going to our turn. Silence, good pickup. I'm going to play the Beseiju, I'm going to play a Scrying. Should have maybe waited on that. Are they going to counter this? I would imagine no. And I can grab a stage. And then I can pass. And then probably on end step search with Charm. I can use the silence to resolve the Dramoka. Or I can use silence to resolve Leer, which would really be the perfect thing. Oh, they have Cling to Dust. Lovely. Good stuff. Yeah, I shouldn't have played the Boseiju. So I'm going to just search now while I can. And maybe if they find another discard, then they find another discard. But if not, then that's okay. I'm going to get the Dramoka. Because they're eating our yard with this Cling to Dust. So Leer I'm a little bit less excited about. Oh, they just have the third Thoughtseize. Good stuff. Four cards left in their hand. What do they got? They've got an Unlicensed Hearse. Alright, so our yard is basically off this game. Although here we do Charm, Scrying, Impulse, Scrying. We do potentially get to resolve a petition. So if I resolve a petition, I can't play anything with it right away necessarily. I think I'm just going to jam the petition. And then if nothing comes from it, I stage copy. And then here I can try to like resolve whatever business spell I get here next turn, or I top deck another business spell. If they have like a pierce or a conditional counterspell, then I can pay for it. They don't have that many hard counters. What would I get? I probably get Ultimatum. Yeah, I'm gonna get Ultimatum. If they had a Narset, they were a if they had a Ashiok, they would have played it. And certainly they don't have the fourth discard spell. This doesn't actually cast the Ultimatum yet, because I do need white for silence. So that's a little bit awkward. But yeah, they're eating things with Hearse. That's fine. Pass to their turn. F6. F Field. This can eat two more things. Crew is 2, so they can't really crew it. Scrying. I can scrying here. Question is, are they going to counter this? They're thinking about it. Get an Otawara, that wouldn't do anything. I'm going to get a stage. Play the stage, and then pass. And just hold the ability to, or try and hold the ability to use stage. If they go for like field, if they go for Evantris, that's fine. They're not really going to be able to afford to Vantris here unless they want to let me copy. They are going for the Vantris. Okay, so that's fine. Clinging to Dust. We are going to stage copy field. And we are so tight on time. Now we have 1,000,000 mana. And next turn we do get to go for Silence Ultimatum. They've got a Surveil. Dumping another field. Turn. Balaged. Here we just have to go. No time to think, only time to click. Blue, black, green. We'll go for an emergent. And when this gets countered, then we're going to Balaged back. Oh no, we can't actually, because they have the hearse. Well, it was fun while it lasted. 3 steps ahead, sure. We'll bring it back. I know they're gonna exile it, but this is just a play that maybe lets us do something. No, all right. So yeah, they didn't make a mistake. All right, so we need to top deck something and hope that they have nothing. I'm hitting F6. A little bit of a waste of the Balaged. Maybe I should have played it as a land. Could have Balageded back the Silence first, and then if they Hearse 8 that. No, but that wouldn't have worked. They're maybe saving field for Lair of the Hydra. In which case we could potentially field their field first and make like a Mega Hydra if it came to that. Scrying, interesting. Kind of feels like they're light or out of business. They only have 2 cards in hand. They only have 6 minutes left, but still is we're in the much more pressing time situation. All right, can you answer a pour? Looks like yes. Okay. Again, they don't have enough cards that do anything yet. Why is it keeps costing me time there where I like try to pass the turn and then it's like not working. All right, we have 6 their turn. I should have left one of these untapped to potentially copy the field, but again, not something that we can afford the luxury of right now. That's a pass turn. They play literally anything, even if it doesn't counter it. I will use the dispute here. They're just clinging to dust again, so they're drawing some cards. That's fine. Eating with the hearse, also fine. Hitting us with the shark, fine. Lotus Field, don't need that. Scrying makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go for a charm here. Search. dispute them if they try to stop it, probably. I know they can just pay it, but I don't know, make them think about it for a second. All right. Yep. So they've got to click through and actually kill us here still. I'm just doing that to get that out of my hand in a way where, you know, maybe it tricks them for a second, because I don't have time to be holding the priority every turn to just like try to actually leverage it well. We're really below the point of being able to win via actual comboing. So, I mean, maybe there's a world where we actually, what our opponent should probably just do is let us combo here. Or try to combo. So really what we need to do is like stick a Dramoka maybe, or anything like that. So they got a second shark. And yeah. The hearse continues to eat our whole graveyard. It's looking not good. Oh, they have the crew. Okay. Fine. Alright, so I mean, we maybe could have won that had we played it a little bit more slowly, but we just didn't have the time on our clock to play it a little bit more slowly, so we had to like take the shots that we had and hope we got a little bit lucky. A little bit of an awkward situation. Again, the type of thing that just doesn't really happen in paper, but you know, that can sometimes happen here. Not the best practice for for the RC perhaps, but yeah. All right. Not to say you don't have to play fast, but like in paper, because let's say it's 1-1 and you're going to time, that's relatively okay as Lotus, because you have the ability to win on the same turn, and you're not gonna you can't run out mid combo necessarily. So 1-1 going to time is to your benefit, because your control opponent isn't going to be able to beat you in time, and you can potentially beat them in time. So I mean, while you might end up with a draw, you're certainly not going to lose. So that's the idea. But all right, one more round. We're 3-1. It's been a pretty good league so far. Let's see how it finishes out. Okay, so we are here with round number 5, and I do not envy our opponent having to type that name in every time they want to log in. I'm going to keep this hand. It does put a Lotus Field into play on turn 2, so that's pretty good. And then on turn 3, we can untap, we charm for the stage, and then we have some business with Pour and Petition. It's a little bit awkward in that I can't turn 1 Grazer because Balaged, so instead... Actually, I need to double check that. Shouldn't you be able to play this as the land side with Grazer? It doesn't work online, but is that a bug? Maybe. That's a bugbear though. Well, at least it's Den. So go to our turn, down the bugbear, something aggressive. Stage is a decent pickup. So I could Beseiju, Grazer, put the stage in, and then next turn I go Balaged. I think I like that a little bit better. And then the turn after that I Lotus Copy. Gets the Grazer into play in case there's something I can block with it. So against an aggro deck, just having, you know, the 0/3 creature potentially saves us a little bit of life. So the earlier we get that in play, potentially the better. Although this is now maybe looking like Boros Convoke, although they are passing again, so I'm not really sure what their hand is. So I could play stage and then have the ability to copy, I could just play field here because I now have the second stage. So I think I'm interested in doing that. And then next turn we have, yeah, again, we just have stage and stage copy. Opponent, what do they have? Still nothing. They just passed again. Plains. It's Boros Energy. It's Bone Crusher Giant, sure. I know the energy cards are not in Pioneer, or at least the good ones. Just joking. All right, Vizier is good. If we had a strings, we would be able to go here, but we don't, so we can't. So I could have 2 mana left after. I could try and draw strings, but I think that's just far too unlikely. So that means that I'm just going to copy now. In case they have, I don't know, something that could kill a land. They could have Buzz Crusher. That would be bad. I'd be unhappy with that. Hopefully it's not Buzz Crusher. And they just scoop it up and concede the match? Oh no, concede the game. Something, they must have just like flooded out real bad, or they had like a pile of removal and they knew they were just dead. So red white lands and Bone Crusher Giant. I mean, I'm assuming that this is going to be Convoke. Just quickly taking a look, is there anything else that I think that this could really be? No, it's not gonna be Niv. I mean, could be like, I guess like Heroic, but what would they have? No, I think it's just Convoke is my guess, at least. Unless it's some sort of brew. Could be a brew. So what am I expecting out of them? Well, maybe just some general purpose answers in Floodmaw for anti-hate. Cut a petition. Cut like an impulse, a Balaged. And we could think about a lockdown or two. Although I'm not sure. I think maybe we could also think about Satyr for a little bit more speed. Now I'm just gonna bring in the Flood Maws and run it back like this. Just be a little bit hedged against other things in case this is some form of brew, which I think there's a decent chance. I'll keep this. It's a little bit slow, but it has the right pieces. We can potentially use Charm as an interaction if we need to. Scrying, we could also go get like an Otawara, maybe with the second one, and use that for interaction if we need to. So, opponent is passing. We've got a Sanctum, that's good. We're looking at second Sanctum and then get Field next turn. Vantage. They're still playing nothing. What is happening over there? I'm so confused. I don't think this can be Convoke because there's no way they would keep hands like this 2 games in a row. So I think it's maybe some sort of combo. Could it be like... No, I'm not sure what red-white combo even exists in here anyway. Containment Priest. What? I mean, it does, I guess, turn off of the... No, but you do have to cast it from exile. This doesn't do anything against us. I mean, it stops Leer off... No, it was cast off Ultimatum. Why? Is this shutting down something I'm not thinking of? Archon of Emeria. Well, that's annoying. We do have Otawara for it. Okay, and they did have the turn 2 priest. Actually, no, so maybe this could be Convoke with like a very questionable hand in game 1. But Alright, so we go to our next turn. I mean, I can just play Field. I can Scrying. I could also Sanctum and then Charm out a Field. And that potentially gives me another mana. So I think I like that. Oh no, but it comes in tapped. Never mind. That was dumb. Alright, well, we've got Scrying. I'm going to get a Boseiju, just in case there's some sort of other hate that comes down. And here we've got, I guess, Field, and then we charm out a stage. And then we can like play another stage and do something with that. Okay, they've got Werefox Bodyguard. Got Bone Crusher Giant. They're under a little bit of pressure life total wise. Played their Giant before attacks. Alright, so that's kind of interesting in that it's a basic. So we can Field, sack 2 Sanctums, Charm, Search, and probably put a stage into play. Yeah, we'll put a stage into play. We're going to take 8 here. Actually, we're in trouble. Because we're going to need to... Yeah, we're a little bit slow. I think the Sanctum definitely came back to bite me a little bit. I was just thinking we'd charm there and forgot about that forgot about the non-basics part of it. We're at 6. We could bounce the Bone Crusher to survive potentially, but that's contingent on them not playing something else, and they have a Buzz Crusher. Okay. So it's just like a red-white mid-range pile. Yeah, this, I mean, Buzz Crusher is a card that should have never been printed. But we're gonna lose this one. And I don't necessarily mean because it hoses Lotus. I mean, you can certainly print hosers. It's just a bad hoser because the choose a card to get around hexproof is just so awkward. Why, like, I don't know. They should have just printed a different hoser. And I mean, like, Buzz Crusher, I don't like how it just sort of breaks the rules in a way that is not particularly elegant. One thing you could say is maybe, you know, until end of turn, permanents your opponents control lose hexproof, and then, you know, target something or whatever. There's ways you could have made a card that could attack a Lotus that are more elegant. All right, so we're on the play now. Satyr's good. I want some speed. Floodmaw, I mean, how much hate? I mean, I guess it bounces Archon. Lockdown feels not particularly important here. I could cut another land, perhaps. Maybe a Balaged. Although, no, maybe in the face of Buzz Crusher, I don't want to be cutting lands. I could also just bring in Mystical Disputes as anti-Buzz Crusher cards. That's reasonable. Yeah, let's do that maybe. Actually, no, not. Let's just. I don't know. I cut the Balaged. All right. What do we think about this? We have a look. We have in our top 2. If we find a land, this is pretty decent. I'm gonna keep it. We do need to hit a land with this temple. But, you know, that's the gamble we're sort of taking here. If we miss, we probably are going to lose. But, you know, we can scry one bottom and then hopefully find a land with the other into scrying. Even if we find a tap land, it's okay. I'd prefer it to be an untapped land, but I won't be picky. Fae to the bottom. And we are also on the play, so if we lose a turn, it's bad, but it's not like catastrophic. Okay, and we do pick up the land. And it's a stage, so we can go get another stage. And we've got field next turn. So let's see what they have as some of their follow-up. Okay, second land. We've got a Flood Maw, not the best. I could also just play stage, and then next turn field copy. Hold up the Flood Maw here for if something gets put into play that I don't want. Containment Priest isn't really something I care about. It's one less mana in the short term, but it's a little bit more flexible, so I think I am going to do this. Containment Priest, that's fine. Non-token creature would enter and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. It's cast off of Emergent. I don't really know what the point of this Containment Priest is. There's something I'm not thinking of? Off of an adventure doesn't matter, because it's cast. Hopefully they miss a land drop. That'd be nice. I feel like this is likely another Buzz Crusher, just based on the texture of what they've done so far. Archon? Bone Crusher Giant, sure. Alright, so I'm gonna bounce the Bone Crusher. We do take 2 damage from it, but it saves us more life than that. Another Lotus Field is maybe the worst draw. We do get to copy field, sack our 2 other lands. If we get Buzz Crushered here, it's probably game. Well, no, and we do get to try and claw back with Charm. So they hit us, we get to charm out a thing. It's not good, but they have Hearse. Okay, so it's not Buzz Crusher. We can definitely beat... Okay, they have High Noon, sure. We do have Flood Maw, so we can beat that. We can also potentially beat Hearse with Flood Maw. So the question here is, do we lead on Flood Maw? And I feel like the answer is probably. I think we're just going for it here. This is like red-white hate cards. I mean, I don't even know what else to describe this as. It's just very hateful. So we've got a bunch of mana. Now I could charm the Hearse here. They'd eat some things. But do I need to charm the Hearse here? Well, first I can cycle the Vizier, because it doesn't really matter if that's in my yard, because it's not like I'm flashing it back. But the reason to charm it before playing strings would be if I want to potentially draw cards that will like help me do something more aggressive. So I could charm, and then I could start impulsing. Alternately, how much mana do I have? I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. I could charm for Fae, that's 7 mana. Takes me down to 5 mana. That's not really enough. I mean, maybe I like, if I impulse into another strings, then that's a line. But... Okay, so the other option here is I just charm for the Leer, and then I play the Leer. So how much mana do I have here? I have 8, 9, 10... Wait. No, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Charm for Leer, play Leer is 8 mana. So I'd have 4 mana left. If I didn't play the strings first, I'd have 0 mana left, so I have to play the strings first. Then they presumably eat poor strings. I have 4 mana left, and what am I doing with it? I'm impulsing and I'm hoping to find a strings, so might as well do that first because I'm in that spot either way. But if okay, so I think I am going to eat the hearse here and then try to make something happen with the impulses. Sure, so they eat the pour and then they eat the Sylvan Scrying. Fine. So I can impulse before I strings here because I can strings after anyway. Charm, petition. Petition is especially interesting. Yeah, I'm going to take petition. Strings both of these. Make a pile of mana. So I can petition down to 2 up to 5. So Leer doesn't work here. Pour does work. So it's going to be pour. Untap both of these. Another pour is an excellent pickup. Untap these. We'll discard the Grazer. So we have 7 mana. We can't Emergent though because the way it lines up is a little bit awkward. Charm doesn't actually do anything here. This is actually not as good as it maybe could have been. I think it's just got to be Impulse then. Strings would be the best. Leer is not super exciting here. And we do get just, we're going to have to pass here. We could hold up Charm. Floodmaw, I think, is probably, well, no, because I do need the mana. I could also take a land. That would get me to 6 mana. That's 8 mana. If it's Temple, then that does mean I can just open on Ultimatum next turn. So I actually am going to do that. Oh no, I already played a land for this turn. Okay, that was a bit of a punt. All right, that was a punt. We do have Charm up for the High Noon. So we're gonna get hit for 3 here. Let's see what else they play. Hopefully it's just like, okay, so they're replaying High Noon. That's fine. Now we get to destroy it. Go to our turn. That is pretty awkward. So we have 7 mana, so Charm Leer doesn't do anything. I will bottom that. I think I'm just looking at passing again, unfortunately, but we do have the Charm up if there's interaction that might matter. Cathar Commando, that's fine. And that can potentially kill an Omni, but for now, it's fine. They get to hit us 6, down to 5. Depending on what they have in their hand, end of turn, I will likely... Can't be the time. Your opponent can't play lands from the graveyard. Lands on battlefield and land cards in graveyard can't be the... Okay, so it does turn off field. I think I'm not super concerned about that. Oh no, but it does turn off strings also. So that's bad. But we have High Noon, and I need to kill that, so... That's what this charm is doing. I think with Emergent... So yeah, so we can't strings our lands. We do get to play stage here. That's untapped, but I don't need to do it yet. Alright, I mean, I'm dead if things don't work here. So we have 9 mana. We can't Omni into Emergent, annoyingly, so we just have to Emergent. Alright, so what are our options? Pour seems like a very good option, because we will get to untap our lands. We don't have to target. Strings does target, so that's not as good. What else? There is Bala Ged. There's Floodmaw. So what are our other options besides Pour? I guess there's like play 2 blockers and hope we... No, we wouldn't live. So there's Charm. No. I mean, there's Floodmaw. If they give us Leer... No, okay, so we could take Leer. And... Floodmaw. And maybe bluff them. And if they give us like Leer Floodmaw... Maybe they... Okay, so then we could bounce Tomic. Block 1, 2, 3. And we'd be dead in that case. Lockdown would have been good here. We could Fey, Pour, Leer? No, that doesn't work. Okay, so if I Leer, Floodmaw, Satyr doesn't have haste. I could Scrying. And so if they give me Leer Scrying, I get a blue source. And yeah, I could get Otawara. But then I don't have strings out of the yard. Okay, so I think it just has to be this and then hope that they mess up. 3, 4. I guess, yeah, it's this and hope that they mess up and that they... Basically, we need them to get tricked into giving me Pour or to not activate Bugbear in combat. It's not looking good. It's definitely not looking good. Looks like our opponent's playing like red, white. Other than this Containment Priest, it's like red, white. People are going to be playing Lotus Field and I want to metagame against it. .dec. But maybe we bluff them out here. It's like if we have an untapped blue source, then if they give us Lotus and, or if they give us Floodmaw and Leer, then it kills them, but they didn't. So here I can bounce Cathar or I can bounce, I'll bounce Tomic. So a little bit annoying here. Play the Temple. I mean, I'm trying to think if one of these represents a better bluff than the other or something. No, there's no bluff to be had. It's just is what it is. We're dead. Ugh. I mean, assuming they know to activate their Bugbear, and they will. Yeah. All right. All right. I mean, the second High Noon could have been. Yeah, I feel like we should have won that even with all of that hate. I don't think we had a better pile, but all right. I'm not really sure why Containment Priest was in their deck. Maybe they're just like playing red-white hate bears or something, because their Containment Priest is good against Phoenix, obviously. But I don't know why you wouldn't board it out against Lotus. We'll see. All right. So 3-2. I mean, we played against. We had a pretty good opening, and then control, and then we kind of lost our groove a little bit. But not so bad. You know, decent. And I'll play more Pioneer, especially over the next month or so. Like I said, I'm prepping for the RC. So if you're going to the RC, then I could potentially see you there. Feel free to reach out, and you know, if you want to talk a little bit in person or something like that. Other than that, yeah, take care till next time. Next time I might be playing the Gristlebrand deck, or probably playing that, but I also want to play some Legacy after the Grief Band too, so we'll see. Who knows? All right, bye everyone. Keep playing combo cards, and yeah, good stuff.